Make sure I look good, camera. Make sure I look good. We rolling? What is up, everybody? It's your boy Shazwiyt and welcome back to another video. Thank you so much for joining me yet again, and thank you so much for your continued support. If you're new to this channel and you're clicking on me for the very first time, woohoo! Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and also turn that post notification button so that you get notified every time I upload a new video. So with that being said, let's get straight into today's video. Shazwiyt gang! Okay, the best game in the planet. Let's do it. So, I hope everybody's doing well. I'm doing very well. I'm happy because it's Friday.
Let the church say amen.
It's Friday. It's the end of a long week. Oh my goodness, Tuesday felt like 500 years. Like, I swear, it's been such a long week, but I'm happy that it's weekend time. Get to relax. So as you can tell by the title of today's video, I am going to be talking about my experience as an alien in America. So basically, my American experience as a foreigner. I feel like this video would be, also very helpful for people who have never been to the United States and let's say are planning on going there or are just curious how it feels to be a foreigner in, in the land of the free, as they call it. Is that true? I don't know. I'm just kidding. No shame. Yeah, basically, so I'm going to be telling you about how do I feel about Americans. Do I feel welcome here? Do I not feel welcome here? And judging by how people see, with politics and Trump and everything, is what I've seen on the media true, all from my perspective and just what I've experienced. And the experience of other people is different. Me as a Zimbabwean, not every Zimbabwean has experienced America the same way too. So I did want to put that out there, that I'm not trying to generalize all Americans. I'm also not trying to generalize all foreigners that come to America, whether it be as a college student like me, or a tourist, or a permanent resident, American citizen, whatever. My experience is my own and your experience is yours, and that's what diversity is all about, is that we have come from diverse experiences, but it's also about finding middle ground, to see how, okay, so you lived a life like this and then I did this, but how do those connect? You know what I mean? Finding the connections rather than the differences. Okay, I'm getting a little philosophical, whatever here. Let's not. So, I've been in America for about 2 years now, just over 2 years now. I haven't been physically living here for all those 2 years. In between, I have gone back and forth back to Zimbabwe, which, those of you that don't know, is a country in Southeast Africa. Just wanted to emphasize that for those of you who don't know where Zimbabwe is. Yeah, so I've gone back for summer holidays and for winter breaks, but otherwise I have been here, for 2 years being a college student. I'm a junior now. However, this winter break is going to be the first time that I won't be going back home and I'll be in America for like a holiday, and it's a big deal because it's going to be the first time I've ever not been in Zimbabwe during the festive season, during the Christmas/New Year season. So it's going to be really interesting to experience those festivities in a place other than home, in a whole different country. So I'm looking forward to that. So when I first came to the States, I didn't really know what to expect. Growing up, just like most of you probably who are not American, if not all of you, we've been impacted by American media and entertainment to some capacity. They have the most popular music here, the most popular movies are from America, TV shows, just anything to do with media and entertainment and art America has been at the forefront of a global stage when it comes to those things. When it comes to military and just war and all that stuff, America, the Americans like this octopus that is so versatile and has spread its tentacles into so many different things. And there are all these spheres of influence that they have in different things, and sometimes in certain places that you might not even know they're involved in. You know what I mean? So, but I was excited. I was so excited when I came to, before I was coming to the States. I'd always wanted to come to America and see how it was. I was planning on coming as a tourist, but that never ended up coming into fruition. So the first time I came here was as a college student in August of 2017. So when I came here, I wasn't surprised by what I saw in terms of the fact that I was expecting, it's a first world country, so obviously I was going to expect it to be more developed than Zimbabwe, to have more infrastructure, obviously more people, a different group of people than that I would normally expect. I had just come from an international school in high school, so I was used to being around different people from all parts of the world. So when I first came to the States, when I came to DC, that was the first place I went to. At the airport, the only thing that sort of not really surprised me, but the thing that really, like what I love saying that I was like, wow, was the diversity of the people at the airport. The East Coast is very diverse, and it was really cool to see like the different people that I saw and like the different tattoos that people had, and just the attitudes that Americans have, how they carry themselves, how they speak to each other, all that stuff. I immediately noticed that Americans are very approachable and are just generally very nice. That's what I've noticed. If you are right now saying, are you sure? Then you haven't been to this place, haven't been to that place. I get that. But from what I've experienced and seen, Americans seem to be very approachable. They also seem to be very talkative in the sense of you can strike up a conversation with anyone and they'll be like, hey, yeah, whatever, you know what I mean? Like, it's easy to make friends. It's easy to converse with people. And it's not even that I'm someone who's like, popular or who is just a very sociable person. I can be really shy, especially like if I'm meeting new people. But once I get comfortable with you, like, the sparks will fly and, we got a thing going. We got the fire rolling, some friction. But yeah, that's something I definitely noticed. So I was in DC, wasn't there for long because I was only in the airport. But from what I saw, yeah, it was pretty nice. When you're up in the plane, you don't really notice much, you know what I mean? Because pretty much all places look the same when you're up in the air usually, but as you get closer to the ground, you start seeing more like, oh, okay. I got to DC like super early in the morning. I got there around 6 a.m.-ish. And, the sun had barely like risen up, so there wasn't really much to see anyway, so I didn't really get to see the city from the plane or anything like that. So from DC, I went to Houston. So straight from the north, down to the south, down to Dixieland. So yeah, Houston was cool. It was hot. It was hot as fuck. It was super hot. But yeah, I liked it. It seemed cool. I liked the people. I noticed that there is a very, very large Hispanic population in Houston. And I think in Texas in general, but especially Houston. And and then I did a little research and I found out that there are actually more Hispanic people in Houston than there are white people. And I found that really interesting. And I'm not surprised because Texas was a Mexican territory. The Spanish, used to, they had control of that area. So I'm not surprised that there's a big, Hispanic population there and heritage and all that stuff. And that was really cool to see all of the Hispanic Americans that I was seeing. Because in Zimbabwe, there aren't a lot of Hispanic people there, not a lot of Latin people, whether they be from North America, Central or South America. There were some in my school, quite a few definitely, but it was only when I was in the 10th grade, that's the first time I ever met a Latin American, no matter like what region they're from. That was the first time I met them. I'd never met a Mexican, Salvadorian, Cuban, none of those people before. So it was really cool to meet people like that. In my class, there was a Puerto Rican in my class. On my campus, there are Cubans there as well, Argentinians. We had the Spanish. We had the teacher who taught Spanish, who is from Chile or Chile. I think it's pronounced Chile, right? Yeah. So it was just really cool. That's, what I really loved the most about America at first was just the diversity of people and the different attitudes and how it's just literally this melting pot. And I got the sense of that. Um, so then from there, I went to Mississippi, Jackson, which is where my college was. The weather was very humid. Um, but yeah, I mean, typical like what you'd expect from the South. But I didn't know that though until I got there. So that was like, whew, oh my goodness, this is horrible. But what I was distracted by was just the beauty of the Southeast. The Southeast United States is just so beautiful, like to drive through. There's so much foliage here, and just looking out so much nature and trees and all that stuff. And it makes me so happy to see so many trees and forests that are still up and the trees not being cut down. I've even asked friends and people who stay here, and I'm like, do people ever walk in these woods? Like, do they ever walk in the forest and just observe nature? And they're like, yeah, sometimes they do. Sometimes I'm tempted to like just stop by the highway and just like go into a forest and just look at stuff, you know what I mean? I remember I went on the Natchez Trace, which is like close to this huge reservoir in close to Jackson, the Jackson, I guess area. We're just outside Jackson, and it was really beautiful there. And there's this little walkway, like sort of forest in Natchez, where there's signs and where you can see all the swamps and everything. And it was really beautiful. It was really great to see. My host mom took me. So that just shows that America geographically and topologically is also very diverse because you have mountainous areas, then you have the places that look like the southeast, lots of green foliage, lots of forestry. Then going west, you get towards more dry desert conditions. But there's beauty in that too, all the cacti and all that stuff. It's also a melting pot of regions too. There's a lot of diversity going on here. And even weather systems, I mean, there are hurricanes, earthquakes, tornadoes, all sorts of things here. I think the only thing that's not experienced by Americans is monsoons. I don't think there are no monsoons in the States, but cyclones, hurricanes, all that stuff, it's there. So in terms of feeling welcomed and all that stuff, I felt very welcomed here. I love the people there. Like, in my opinion, I think Americans, especially Southerners, I think Southern Americans are the nicest people I've ever met. That's my opinion though. They're very nice, they're very welcoming, really cool people. Like, that Southern hospitality that I always had seen being talked about in movies, TV shows, and all that stuff is true, guys. Like, when you come to the States, you truly feel welcome, like if you go anywhere in the South. And also Southerners, yes, like Zimbabweans, and I think it's also an African thing and also Asia too. You're raised to be respectful, you're raised like, yes sir, no ma'am, all that stuff. They're very, I think Southerners are very cultured. And that's one thing that's like really cool to see. And one thing that I was also excited about when I came to the States was the fact that all of these stereotypes that I had heard about before were not true. You know what I mean? It's not like everybody's some redneck with some like hickey accent or something like that. You know what I mean? I'm from Kentucky or somewhere. No, that's not what it is. Some people do have a deep accent, but from what I've heard, most Americans sound similar to me. I don't know, that's just me. And then there are certain individuals who do have a proper deep, like, Southern accent. And there are different kinds of Southern accent, which is what you'll find out, is that a Mississippi accent is not the same as a Louisiana one, is not the same as Georgia, it would not be the same as Alabama. On the surface, they might seem the same to me, as someone who hasn't lived here for a while. But, like, for people who've lived here, some of them can really tell the difference. But to me, honestly, like, especially the fact that I go to a college where there are people from like sort of all over in terms of like continentally, in the United States, most people sound pretty similar to me. So so in terms of my overall experience in the States, I feel very welcome. I feel I'm enjoying my time here. There's a lot to do. Americans, they know how to have fun. They know how to have a good time. Like, here I notice Americans will find any excuse to like party or celebrate something. There's like always a holiday for something and a time to celebrate something. And I think that's a really cool thing because it's good to be joyful, to find the perfect balance between, you know, work and play. Work hard, play hard, you know, as Wiz Khalifa said. All work and no play makes Jack a dumb boy. You know what I mean? I have no idea what that's from. I think it's from a poem or a story or something. I have no idea. But if you're someone who's thinking of coming to the United States, no matter what it is for, I think you'll have a great time here and you'll notice that there are a bunch of activities to do. The only thing about the States that's, you know, one thing I don't like is the taxes. The taxing system here is a ripoff and it's horrific. They don't even use VAT, which is basically where when you buy something, the tax is already included. They don't do that here. You only see the tax added on once you're about to purchase the thing you want. So you could go to a store and know that something costs $1, but you know you have to bring $2 because there's going to be some extra cents on top of that. You know what I mean? Or you're prepared to buy something for a certain price. You're not sure how much tax it's going to be. You say, you know, and then it's like, do that at the till, and it's like, you know, and you're like, I'm not even saying anything, but yeah, you get what I'm saying. That's horrible. But otherwise, do I see myself staying here? I definitely do. Do I want to? I mean, I want to go back home to Zimbabwe at some point. I thought that when I came to the States, I wouldn't miss home, but I still do. However, I do love it here. I love the people. The people are my favorite part about this, you know, this country. And I know, like, generally, like when you're asked something like that, what was your favorite part of the experience? People always say people just to sound like they're nice or whatever, but genuinely I do love the people. They're so cool, so chilled. It's a very welcoming environment. I do feel welcomed. I do feel a part of this community of everybody else. And if that is not your experience, tell me about it. Tell me how you as a foreigner have dealt with living in the States. Do you feel like you're bullied? Do you feel like you're not welcome here? Are you someone who's previously lived in the States for a time but moved back to your country or moved somewhere else for whatever reason? Tell me about that. I would love to hear your guys' thoughts on that. But remember, as I said before, my experience, not everybody's, not generalizing all Americans. Not all Americans are nice, not all Americans are whatever. But this is just what I've seen and what I've experienced. So I hope you guys enjoyed that video. It's just, yeah, love sharing pieces of my life with you guys and what's going on. Stay tuned for the very next video. Who knows? I might post tomorrow. I might not. Hope you guys have an amazing weekend. And with that being said, I am out. Shazwiyt gang.